G'day friends, fellow listeners, thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe. Sadhu Arts Bhagavad Gita, Bite Size. The next installment we're looking at number 17, chapter 17. This is the yoga where, again, Krishna has gone back onto a previous topic, which is the three modes of material nature. The Trimurta is a very central aspect to Hinduism, and that is because of essentially it's the gift that Krishna gave to humanity. It's the gift that was given by virtue of being able to split the dualities and rest in a peacefulness of non-differentiation. And in that equilibrium, the aspect of time is sort of cared for. The aspect of not getting caught up in the dualities of life, the pressure or the laziness or the dualities are taken care of, and this is, shall we say, exalted, accentuated at the moment of surrender to Krishna. I will take complete care of you. This is what Krishna is saying to Arjuna. You're already halfway there, you know. So in this extrapolation, again, the three modes are utilized as methods of understanding or the explanation of particular dietary requirements for different bodies, different compositions. This is an Ayurvedic sort of route that aims at sort of, I guess, primarily understanding and accepting where we are physically, mentally, emotionally, and accommodating for that, but then also envisioning and pertaining to aspire to a kind of transcendence of our limitations. How am I going to transcend my limitations today? The limitations are multifarious. Shall we say, limitations are habitual, cyclical, but also never seen and under the shadow of darkness. So enough of the mental speculation. Today for the talk we're listening to the sounds of the river. I thought that was pretty peaceful with the flowing river behind us. We're almost there, folks. Chapter 17. Chapter 18, which is a pretty big one. Chapter 18 is fun. It's great. It's a sort of summary of the whole contents of the Gita. Chapter 17. So we're looking at the key phrase that came out of this chapter, the most important, glowing, the heartbeat of this chapter. Really, the essence of it was that single line which my teacher pointed out to me when asked, what is the correct way of giving? Had to be charitable, had to sacrifice. Again, this is Arjuna's question that comes in many different ways. And my question was that repetition came back, and it's really nicely stated, to do without wanting anything in return, with good focus upon, the time and place of the situation, someone who is worthy, which is a questionable tenet, without wanting anything in return, to someone who's worthy. And also it's recommended the chanting of mantras, that food be given, and that the intention is correct. These are all things to formulate good intention, because the world is a reflection, and what we give obviously comes back. But this teaching of Krishna is meant to suggest that if we can keep Krishna in mind and give this image or this imagination, this recognition of the highest potential within ourselves, we can feed that to the point that we're able to let it go. Then that's also that grows, that letting go grows. Enough of that, though. The point here is to be made that the degree to which one can realize the intangible is the degree of which, I guess, satisfaction could come back as a result. It's not really known, and it doesn't really matter. The point to be made, though, is that charities charity is not always the same as like a devotional aspect. Charity by means of just giving to be recognized as a giver, or dumped, like to dump clothes out the front of a charity isn't the same as giving. So Arjuna really asked, the chapter begins by a question which was, for one who wants to know, I guess, can it be possible to sacrifice, to live a life of purity and penance and aspiring to transcendence by disregarding the scriptures? Can it be done without the scriptures? And Krishna says, yeah, look, faith is a natural component of every human being. We all have faith in something. The fact is, even the atheists have faith in their limited intellectualization, and their defending is the deity of their worship. So again and again and again, it could be said, on the next level, that Buddhism came to really refine this middle path, which what is Krishna is really getting at, this middle path of non-fluctuation between extremes. And this is laid forth because of the fact that it was known that this is going to be a really dark time of humanity. Those who are lazy will be worshipping ghosts. Those who are passionate will be worshipping giants, depending on your translation of the Bhagavad Gita. And those who are in the mode of goodness, their worship can also be a worship of purity, of penance. Goodness generates itself. So again, for that next level, the Buddhism sort of came to refine the further extrapolations of the middle path. But let's digress. That's the important thing, and I can give practical examples of the fact that those who are passionate need to celebrate life, to wake up. And the example of, worshipping a giant could be the sports stars or the celebrity giants of giant publications and so forth, and of little intellect perhaps. Those of extreme devotion to the intellect would be worshipping ghosts in a matter of trying to understand the movements of the shadows and scientific extrapolations and so forth. But once again, Krishna turns to Arjuna. Arjuna turns to Krishna and says, that the middle path is the way, and there are foods that are also accommodating to this. So the key is, to serve people and then to give them foods that are juicy, wholesome, fresh. And so depending on the level of preparedness, how much one can stick to this middle path, the fruits therefore come back, which would be an accommodation of being able to give that kind of food to those who are receptive to that kind of food. It's a very temporal thing. It's very similar to the pranayama that described by Patanjali, who says you can't just start doing pranayama. Obviously, there's all these prerequisites, Arjuna, of which you've already come thus far in possessing these divine qualities. Pranayama has to be done in recognition of time and place, and the meditation on the vow, Tat, T-A-T, Tat. This is how the chapter closes. Om Tat Sat is a recognition of the purity of the body, which starts with the Om. Purity of the body means purity by virtue of cleanliness, of doing the tapasya and yoga. The Tat Sat, the Tat, which is purity of speech, truthfulness, purity of speech, which is sort of like an extrapolation of the cleanliness of mouth by saying good things and having nice thoughts. And the Sat is the truth, meditation, and the sacrifice of the mind by virtue of thinking positively, realistically, and allowing Krishna to take care of the rest. So the Om Tat Sat is that preferred mantra. It's kind of like saying grace. It's Om Tat Sat. So anything that is not is Asat. So that closes by the prayer Satoma Sat Gamaya Tamazoma Jyotir Gamaya Mitroim Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So everybody has their own path to follow, and because of the fact that Krishna comes to you in whichever way that you pray for, the world being a reflection, as it is said in the West, then the closer that we can get to the middle and an understanding of the fluidity of the dynamics of things coming back from yonder and things coming back from the future and so forth, that there is an inherent chaos, and to make sense of it all, could be said that, what has taken a long time to accumulate can very slowly be given, and what is quick to accumulate could very quickly be given. That there holds the key to the correct nature of giving without attachment, because it can be hard. And knowing that there are parameters, that Krishna has guidelines for the correct giving is a blessing. So let's say that. Om Tat Sat. Join us next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe while we look at the closing chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in which I'm going to try my very best to summarize the entire Bhagavad Gita. It's probably going to be very blasphemic, but I'm going to try my best because I'm an aspirant on the path. Whereby a friend has asked me, what does the Bhagavad Gita really mean? And I said, well, one way to look at it could be that you are extending a prayer that Krishna is on the side of the battlefield in which you want to win. Or in other words, the side of the family that you want to win. And let's not disregard the scriptures, because chapter 17 has told us anything that's very difficult to live a life of purity or aspiration without checking in on the scriptures, and it shouldn't be that one could just take that from time and time again and make it bend to their own will and means. So yeah, here's to the middle path. Thanks a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that was today's Bhagavad Gita. Hurry on.